Others will be criticizing me. Others will be criticizing you. Others will be harder on myself. You'll never know how I truly have felt. Makes you wanna say, this thing really does suck ass. Makes you wanna say, even things from the past. Makes you wanna say, this is the worst thing I have seen. Makes you wanna say, what the fuck, Marine? 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 I don't think you're going to understand what's going on. No, I'm being serious. Dead fucking serious. How do I even explain to you what's happened since you've been gone? Okay, let me refocus and get this straight. Onyxt told me that the leader of Organization 13 was me. The same me that runs the Bagman family. So basically, there's this Bagman Organization 13 that is us from another universe. And I did say us, meaning me, Brady, and Quinn, and Buddha, and everyone else. And remember Chad? The evil Chad from We Went to the Future? Yeah, he was part of the Bagman family too. And so was Good Chad. That derpy motherfucker. I don't know who's all in Organization 13. But here are my assumptions so me and you can be on the same page. If I had to guess, Bagman or Evil Marineman in the case is the leader. According to Onyxt at least. Then Chad is there. So is Tony. And Anthony. Onyxt is still in the organization, but to our knowledge he's helping defeat the rest of them. I think we can trust him for now, but I'll be cautious. So that's Marineman, Onyxt, Tony, Anthony, and Chad. That's 5. And I'm guessing it's in the order of the leadership too. If that's 5, who's the other 8? Well, I'm number 6. Nerd? How are you here? It was quite simple really. I joined Organization 13 to escape the pocket dimension that you never restored, by the way. Yeah, about that. What happened? Well, I killed Onyxt, then he used a replica to revive himself with this voice essence thing, plus the fact that I couldn't close Kingdom Hearts without a Keyblade. Well, thanks to our failed plan, the pocket dimension fell into the dark time pit, and the other you convinced me that you was the real you and made me join the organization. Then after we left, the pocket dimension fell to darkness. He tricked me. Look, nerd, I know we lost the battle, but we didn't lose the war. I'm finding out a way to defeat Organization 13 for real this time. And I'm sure of it. Where are we anyway? Oh, in my Station Awakening, or Dive to the Heart, I'm becoming a Keyblade wielder. It's about time. Yeah, after I complete this game and review it, I'll get my own Keyblade. Fucking finally. Well, do that. If I'm away from the council that never was for too long, I'll be missed. They're having me review shitty fucking retro games for their amusement. I just finished reviewing Final Fantasy VI for Super Nintendo. Well, that doesn't sound so bad. No, you don't understand the half of it. They just made me be Jekyll and Hyde for the NES, the Famicom versions as well. Okay, I take that back. That sounds fucking horrible. Anyways, good luck, Marine Man. Well, okay. Let's get started with the video game.
Okay, I have to admit, this is one of my least favorite games of all time. And I don't mean just in Kingdom Hearts, I mean in general. I know what you're thinking. Marineman, how? This is the game that started it all. It laid the foundation for the series as a whole. Which is true, but I prefer Kingdom Hearts 2 and even Kingdom Hearts 3 above that. Kingdom Hearts 3 is my favorite video game of all time, and I can always load up a save and fuck around in it for hours. Kingdom Hearts 1, on the other hand, is not exactly my cup of tea, but let's give it a go.
But you know, it's been years since I played Kingdom Hearts 1, and hell, what's a better way to start my journey as a Keyblade wielder than to start it off on a game where it all began? So in the words of Bubsy, what could possibly go wrong?
So, the game starts with a CGI sequence where it basically shows Sora, the main character, and his dreams of him on his way to the station Awakening, or the Dive to the Heart. Why are there several names for this area? I'm not sure, but basically this realm is to look inside Sora's heart. The gameplay begins with a question. What power do you seek, and what do you want to give up in return? This is also in Kingdom Hearts 3, but I was an asshole, I didn't explain what this sequence does. It plans out the abilities and magic you earn as you level up. So if you seek the power of attack, you gain attack abilities as you go on your journey. And you give up magic like I did, your magic is overall weaker. Later during the tutorial, you get asked a couple questions.
Onyx? What do you want out of life? I guess to broaden my horizons? To broaden your horizons, huh? Chad?
What's most important to you?
What's most important to me? My friends, of course.
Oh, really? Is friendship such a big deal?
What are you afraid of? I'm kinda afraid of being different. Being different? Is that really that scary? What the fuck was all that about?
These questions change when you earn your abilities. Then after a boss fight with a giant shadow-like enemy, you arrive on Destiny Island. Sora's home along with his friends, Kairi and Riku. They're building a raft to leave the island and go to other worlds. The character building here is progressive. During your time on Destiny Island, you gather pieces of the raft and get a hold of the command menu. I don't think I explained this thing in Kingdom Hearts 3's review, but think of it like this. In Final Fantasy, during turn-based combat, you select what you want to do, and they do it for their turn. But here, you're doing it while moving around, and there aren't any turns, it's just active battle. This is what you call an action RPG, where you run around and do combos, etc. After gaining abilities, you level up your combos and magic, then the menu fills up with more options and stuff. As you progress doing things on the island, you get a cutscene that reveals that the king of Disney Castle is gone. Donald and Goofy have to find a Keyblade Master and then find the king, which is, of course, Mickey Mouse. And then there's this instance where this hooded, formless figure tells Sora that the world will be destroyed, and then it does the next night. Sora goes to the island during a storm to protect the raft, but these creatures called the Heartless appear, and Sora goes to Riku, but he gets swallowed by the darkness. But then he gains the ability to use the Keyblade. He fights the Heartless, and Sora finds Kairi, and this happens.
Sora.
That's important. After fighting a big Heartless again, which is called a Dark Side, Sora gets sucked up into a vortex and lands in Traverse Town. Donald and Goofy see a star go out, and Sora wakes up with Pluto licking him. You run into Sid from Final Fantasy VII, and then you run into Squall or Leon from Final Fantasy VIII, and you fight him.
Tetsuya Nomura's idea for having Final Fantasy characters was to ease the player of that series to this one, with familiar faces. It's also important to note that certain terminology throughout Kingdom Hearts is also Final Fantasy based, such as certain magic and attacks and items. But don't get confused, Leon and Sid from Final Fantasy VII and VIII don't share the same history as Leon and Sid from Kingdom Hearts. They have their own respective history in Kingdom Hearts, including the Disney characters. They have their own lore within the universe of Kingdom Hearts.
Later on in other Kingdom Hearts games, the use of Final Fantasy characters is used more sparingly, since the series can now stand on its own 2 feet with all the characters it has.
This would upset fans, since the general consensus was that this was a collaboration between Final Fantasy and Disney, which isn't entirely true, but not entirely wrong either. See, Square is the developer of Final Fantasy, and The World Ends With You, so they own those characters and thus can use those characters how they see fit to aid the story of Kingdom Hearts. Without Disney's permission, though, they can't use a character such as Sora in something like, I don't know, Smash Brothers, for example, which did end up happening. And to clarify some things with that situation, Disney was accepting of having Sora in Smash Brothers. Tetsuya Nomura was just very concerned with how the lore implication of Sora being in Smash was going to be. Anyways, enough about rights of characters and how they should be used. Let's get back into the game.
After fighting Leon, Yuffie tells you the purpose of the Keyblade, which is to defeat the Heartless and seal keyholes that are oozing darkness. You eventually travel to the 3rd district and meet Donald and Goofy, defeat a boss, and you start your Disney World traveling adventure. Realistically, it would take hours to retell the story of the Disney World, so let's shift focus. Gameplay. As you progress through the world, you'll notice something. Each world is a fucking maze. This is a prime example of a where the fuck do I go type of game. With no maps like in future games and the lack of linear map design, you get lost constantly, especially on a first playthrough. Wonderland is okay enough to get through, but the time you reach Atlantica, hell, even Neverland, you're left scratching your head like, what the fuck? It's almost as bad as Sonic 06 where you have to reach the random area where progression is. On top of that, there's platforming. See, this game was inspired by Mario 64, which is crazy to me that one of my least favorite IPs inspired my favorite one. Anyway, my opinion aside, the fact is, Mario 64 revolutionized 3D platforming games. But here, for example, in Deep Jungle, there's this area of vines where you jump on and off of. If you fall, you go to the area below. You have to parkour across some hippos and do it again. For the longest, I thought the objective was to get through this impossible gauntlet of tedious vine jumping mechanics, where the timing window is so small and the punishment for failure is too big. I spent 40 minutes trying to get across just to find a save point at a dead end. Little did I know, when you first entered the area, you just turn around and climb up some ivy. So I wasted 40 fucking minutes of my life on a mechanic that could have been skipped entirely. Why have that area in the first place? What's the benefit? Variety? Sure, it's like this useless sliding area that's watered down version of the sliding part in the kelp forest in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Moving on to combat, it's fine for being the first of its kind. It's a little clunky, but not as bad as the internet makes it out to be. It's responsive and fast enough to give an adrenaline rush, but slow enough that you can think about how to defeat strong enemies such as Clayton or even Ursula. Sometimes bosses' attacks are annoying and hard to dodge, like Chernobog's fire attack, but with brute force and being on easier difficulty, you can get past. The game isn't impossible in Proud mode, but I think Proud Kingdom Hearts 1 is harder than Critical Kingdom Hearts 3, and that says a lot. Abilities take AP. The more AP you have, the more abilities you have. you won't be able to have all abilities, so you have to pick and choose how you want to build Sora, Donald, and Goofy. There are shortcuts for only 3 items or magic. For example, if you press left bumper, it gives an option for 3 buttons to press to use an action in quick succession. Magic takes MP and a spell is a bar of MP. You then attack or get bubbles to get a yellow bar that builds the blue bar. Some worlds like Atlantica and Neverland have different movements, such as flying or swimming, where the controls, they suck. B and X are used to lift and lower yourself respectively in air or water. It takes a while to get a hold of. The biggest sin is Atlantica in this case, where the whole world is a where do I fucking go lateral fiasco. The whole world uses these controls and it sucks bad. Like ass! Now I have to admit, in this playthrough, I didn't even do the bonus stuff such as Winnie the Pooh or the Coliseum matches. I was more focused on the main story, which I guess I can talk more about, but before we do that, there's one major part of the game I've yet to mention. The Gummy Ship. See, to travel to different worlds in Kingdom Hearts, you need a vessel, like the Gummy Ship. The borders of these worlds have been broken, and when darkness came, it's now possible to use the Gummy Ship to travel from world to world. The issue is, the gameplay of the Gummy Ship. It's boring. And way too easy. No matter what difficulty you're on in any Kingdom Hearts game, in fact, the Gummy Ship missions stay the same difficulty. As for Kingdom Hearts 1, it's like a prototype of a shoot 'em up. And it's done very poorly. Again, I know it was 2002 when this came out, but shoot 'em up genre has existed since 1978. Look it up. Maybe it's the way the worlds are set up. See, until you get a warp drive, you have to fly to each world, making traversal so goddamn slow. And not to mention you have to fly to every new world, even when you have a warp drive. And like I said, it's easy, so you can get away with never upgrading your Gummy Ship even once in the entire game. But before I gripe about what's mostly a gimmick used for immersion and lore, let's get back on track. The story. See, as you go to Disney Worlds and stop the darkness, if the Disney World has a Disney princess, they would be kidnapped or they disappear or something and sent to Hollow Bastion, which in lore used to be the home of most of the Final Fantasy characters and Kairi. Along the way, you run into Riku, who's an angsty asshole in this game, and he messes with you and eventually succumbs to darkness thanks to Maleficent and other villains. But it isn't until the end you know the truth that Riku was slowly getting possessed by a guy named Ansem Seeker of Darkness. By the time you get to Hollow Bastion, you run into Riku and somehow takes the Keyblade away from you, and it's been told by Tetsuya Nomura that Riku was the original choice for the Kingdom Key. But he chose darkness, so he went to Sora. But that's if you're solely talking Kingdom Hearts 1. When Birth by Sleep comes around, it gets kinda more complicated. So Sora gets a wooden sword that does 0 damage, and has to rely on magic, which is weird because it was to my understanding that the Keyblade gave the wielder its magic, or something. Okay, anyways, Donald and Goofy follow Riku because they suck, so he used the Beast to help attack enemies. Why is he here? Well, he's looking for Belle, and by sheer will, he was able to travel to Hollow Bastion without a vessel. Somehow. After getting to the castle, you run into Riku. He taunts you and attacks you, but Goofy blocks it. Donald comes over because he's a bitch, and Sora says,
I don't need a weapon. My friends are my power.
And gets the Keyblade back. Then you fight Riku. He runs away and makes way to the world's keyhole. And he then reveals that it is him, Ansem Seeker of Darkness, and you fight possessed Riku. After defeating him, Sora tries to close the keyhole, but it's incomplete. The hearts of the 7 princesses of Heart need to mend the keyhole. Alice, Jasmine, Snow White, Belle, Aurora, and Cinderella have their hearts closed in the keyhole, but one is missing. It's Kairi. Sora realizes Kairi's heart is inside him. And then he does the most logical thing to do. Kill himself. This releases Kairi's heart, but turns Sora into a heartless, and oh boy, the repercussions of this action spawns 3 whole fucking games! Kairi, Donald, and Goofy escape, but Kairi refuses to leave Sora behind, but heartless Sora finds them, and she fixes him. somehow, cause she's his light, or something, and regroups with the Final Fantasy characters. Kairi gives the Sora a good luck charm of hers, and he promises to bring it back. And then Sora goes off to seal the keyhole, but there's an invisible fucking enemy. I don't know if I have this on recording, but I don't know why it's here, and the other thing I can think of is protecting the chest with the Oblivion Keyblade. So after you kill it, you can open the chest and continue. He seals the keyhole and goes to the final world after saying goodbye to the Final Fantasy characters.
Let me explain the end of the world as this game calls it to you. It's where all the destroyed worlds, or what's left of them, and you have to travel there in an invisible maze, and the only way you can get a sense of direction in that invisible maze is by getting into battle and seeing peaks of the paths that is manifested. But stop and think to yourself for a moment. Sora's 14 during this, and he's in a hellscape trying to defeat a man controlling darkness demons with a dog and a duck from Disney cartoons. And somehow this is my favorite fucking franchise. Go figure.
After diving deeper into darkness, you come across optional portals that take you to a realm of a previous world you went to, and you defeat enemies inside them. Now you can skip this and ruin the suspense, or you can grind XP, your choice. But then is a boss fight from literally nowhere. Chernobog from fucking Fantasia. Why? Why is he here? And he's hard as shit. I mentioned his fire attack from earlier, it just wipes you. You're flying all over, his arms are flaring about, and it's hard to hit him. Like, this is just the Ursula fight, but turn to 11 on the diarrhea dial, and the fact of dying over and over and over again, it just drives me mad.
Fuck! I can't do it! I need help.
That's an understatement.
Tony? How you gonna be a Keyblade wielder if you're going to give up? Look, the flying controls are shit, and it's hard to hit this fucking bastard with its arms flaring around everywhere. Listen, just watch his movements. There's a specific animation he does when he's about to use this fire attack. Just fucking pay attention. Alright, I guess that's all the advice he has for me. Just watch his movements. Let's see if it works. Yes! I beat it! Haha. Alright, now let's go to Ansem.
You then reach the final rest, and you hear a voice stating that there's no light beyond this door, and your heart is the mightiest weapon of all. You then enter the remains of Destiny Islands, and the first phase, you fight Ansem Seeker of Darkness with Donald and Goofy. He'll use his Guardian to put elements on you, but after this, you fight him in the purple arena, all by yourself. Donald and Goofy are just gone at this point. He's much faster. After beating him, he turns into... He turned into a boat! What is this? What is this game? He's like attached to it. It's kind of like the Guardian upgraded and grew. You fight Ansem, then go into a dark area and find Goofy. You attack the boat's mouth with him. Another dark area. It's Donald. You use the help of your friends to defeat Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. You then try to close the door to darkness, or in other words, Kingdom Hearts, and you find Riku and King Mickey. Yeah, Disney allowed Square Enix to use him in one scene. With the help of Riku and the others, you close the door to Kingdom Hearts. And Kairi is here, somehow. Sora promises to come back and they separate, and the worlds get recompleted. But the Destiny Trio, Sora, Riku, and Kairi, are separated. So the story of the saga is not yet over.
This game may be my least favorite Kingdom Hearts game, but you know what? And hell, even replaying it for the first time in years breathed new life into me as I experienced this crazy tale of Kingdom Hearts and where this whole series started in the first place. Without this game, I wouldn't be the same. Yet hell, many people wouldn't be the same. This not only shaped a franchise, but people's lives. You know, there's been Kingdom Hearts weddings, Kingdom Hearts graduations. Fuck, I wouldn't be surprised if there would be a Kingdom Hearts movie in the future. And as for Sora, he's become an icon of happiness and kindness throughout the world, and his always positive attitude is refreshing. And seeing him paired up with Donald and Goofy, I just have to say it's perfect. This is where his journey began, and just like him, my journey continues. No matter what tragedies are going on in the world, or hell, even my life, Kingdom Hearts is a comfort game to escape to. Yes, I know it's a Disney game, it can be cringe, but that's the charm. All these fucking anime characters going through literally the worst fucking possible trauma, and Donald and Goofy are here just to make a dark story lighter and child friendly. This used to be my least favorite video game of all time, but that's changed now. I'm fond of this game, and if you think you want to experience an action RPG, I think you should start with this game, at least on beginner. And beginner is so much fun to run around and defeat enemies, and hell, if you're feeling masochistic, go ahead and do level 1, no items, no continues. I guess you can do it on beginner, but it's still going to be hell, to get a massive achievement score. So, Kingdom Hearts is nothing less than a spectacle. Going through it again made me realize why I like this series. It scratches an itch similar to something like Devil May Cry, and hell, maybe not that intense. The later games surely give you a run for your money. Anyway, I think it's time. I gotta manifest my Keyblade. Alright. I just gotta focus. Let my heart be my guiding key.